We have the co-founders of Sustain Cart with us, Shilpa Reddy and Kantidat both here. Just when we first request Mr. Munish Bhatia to give a little bit of an overview in terms of Sustain Cart. But before that, let me just give a very quick background. During this webinar, in about 40-45 minutes of presentation that we will have and the question answers that will follow, there are certain things which are important for me to clarify. So some of the questions which could be pertaining to how to invest, what could be the minimum ticket size and all, those questions we will keep outside the purview of this webinar. This is more to understand the startup, the exact investment idea. The modus operandi part of this, we request if there are investors here to get in touch with the wealth managers, and they will be able to explain this to you in terms of how the investment modus operandi operates. So we'll confine this webinar predominantly to the questions and around Sustain Cart rather than the operational matters of this. So without taking much of time, otherwise I request Munish to give a little bit of an overview to every one of us, and then we will play a very small video to set the tone in terms of what we are up to, and then we will have our co-founders one after the other who will quickly run through their part of the presentation. Over to you, Munish.
Thanks, Kapov. Hi, everyone. I am Munish Bhatia. I am one of the co-founders at India Accelerator. I also manage IA Impact Labs, which is a vertical for sustainability. I have been working with Kanti and Shilpa for almost 1.5 years now, and I can say it's been an amazing journey to see them grow, not just individually, but as a company as well. We selected Sustain Cart 1.5 years back in our program when they were still at the nascent stage, and the idea was, can we make a difference in the sustainability space, not just by bringing the products out, but also by education. That's where we connected with the vision of Shilpa and Kanti, that it's not just about bringing the product out or e-commerce platform. It's idea of, can we change something within the psyche of the people, that they start living consciously. And during the period, I've been worked with a lot of impact funds and global entities, where I've understood that this market is going to get at least 5x in next 3.5 and 4 years. And the idea with Sustain Card is to capture at least 5% of that market. For us, that 5% is big enough, because market within India and outside is so huge that this 5% can make us a $1 billion company. So we are not just going for a short run here, we are going for a long run. We want to target large companies where we can expand. And what we feel is that the founder has the capability and the vision to execute such a large project. And that's why we got associated. We have helped them with first round, and this is the second round that we are helping. So we are helping them all along to take it to a large scale. So that is what I would like to add in terms of how the journey has been. I would request Apoop to play that video about the Sustain Cart journey, and will then request Shilpa to introduce herself and go about talking about his journey and how Sustain Cart started. So Apoop, over to you.
Perfectly, yes. Just a sec.
Recording in progress.
Plastic is number one. They should try to reduce plastic.
An example is far more powerful than any lecture, speech, or donation.
It is a lifestyle, it's not a fad. People need to understand that. The more you discover the truths, the harder it becomes to understand why more people won't do more about it.
70% of this body is water. How come you experience this as me and you don't experience this as me? Isn't that a tragedy?
Wealth out of waste. So we started creating wealth out of this waste. Wet waste, we are making it as a compost. Dry waste, we are sending it for recycling.
And I think to be sustainable, we need to give it thought.
And we need to be a little intentional.
You know, we have a culture of buying and buying and buying more.
Right.
But are we questioning it? Are we questioning if we really need it? Or if we're just buying it for the sake of buying it?
Right. Even if it's a similar style of printing or weaving, the way it's done, the technique is completely different.
I think we shouldn't try to aspire to their money-making methods.
Absolutely.
I think we should aspire to finding that balance, which is who we are originally.
Right. So we'll just start. I request Shilpa to make the opening remarks, self-introduce herself as one of the co-founder, and she has a lot more other things for her to share. And then we will move to Kanti to run the rest of the presentation. Over to you, Shilpa. I think she's out somewhere.
It could be a network issue. Let's wait for her to come back.
Yes, yeah. Or else we could then ask Kanti to start, and we'll have Shilpa at the latest stage.
Hi, Apoorv. So Shilpa is trying to reconnect. I just
that's okay.
Yeah. So hello everybody. I'm Kanti, the co-founder of Sustain Kart, and today we thank Apoorv and Munish for having given this opportunity to present to you all prospect investors who would be looking forward to a journey with Sustain Kart. So a little background about myself. I started entrepreneurship very early in my teens and spent over 9 years in the media and entertainment businesses, have been in the marketing and advertising business, worked with several music artists, produced several music shows and so on before COVID happened. And that's when me and Shilpa got together to collaborate and start our first venture together, which is the Sustainable Living Show that you just saw the snippets of on the screen. The idea of the show was to talk about how simple changes can steer consumers towards sustainability on the long run. The idea was to address that sustainability is not just for the affluent lot, and that we can make small steps towards sustainability one day at a time. A little background about Shilpa as well. Shilpa spent over 12 years in the fashion business, owned a luxury couture, was crowned Mrs. India 2008, styled a few hundred celebrities, showcased her garments across multiple different countries. But towards the third part of her journey with her couture studio, she made several changes with her fabrics while trying to use natural fabrics and so on. This inspiration for her came from Isha Foundation. This is obviously her journey to share, and I'm sure she'll join us back, and she's having some network connectivity issues. So we both wanted to come together and talk about sustainability on a larger platform, and which sort of very organically led towards sustainability e-commerce as an idea. We had a lot of viewers asking us in the comment section about where they could buy these sustainable products that were indirectly suggested or endorsed on the show by the celebrities on the show. We had a great lineup of politicians to sustainability advocates, including Sadhguru on the show, the founder of Isha Foundation, to that of film stars, to that of sports stars, talking about their own perspectives around sustainability as a lifestyle choice. We also had a few brands writing to us asking if they could sponsor the show to get some visibility with this target audience. In this case, the target audience are the conscious buyers. So we connected these two dots and we realized there is a certain market out there, and the main problem for sustainability audience or the conscious consumers is that there was no website or an e-commerce portal as such trying to put together all things sustainable under one roof. And the extension to this problem is also that even if you find products labeled as organic or natural and so on other e-commerce portals, there is no product due diligence or audit or validation to the claims made by the brands. So we wanted to break down these two concerns. And primarily what we started to do at SustainCart is to bring together all things sustainable from different categories, which includes beauty, food and nutrition, pet care, kids care, fashion, accessories, home care, furniture, furnishings, and so on. It is just a simple alternative to Flipkart, minus the electronics, with sustainability and conscious living being promoted. Also, a few categories that we would like to highlight, which fall under the umbrella of sustainability, are organic products, vegan products, eco-friendly, biodegradable, cruelty-free, chemical-free, and so on. These keywords have individually been highly in the market demand for a very, very long time now. All of us have definitely seen multiple brands growing in the space of organic cosmetics, Ayurvedic cosmetics, organic food, vegan food, and so on and so forth. So when SustainCart happened to us, the idea was to break the concern around the price factor and be able to put together a range of products from a very competitive price point onwards. We started this journey early January 2021, and it's been close to 2 years until now. With all the kind of celebrity goodwill that Shilpa brings to the table, we had the privilege of launching SustainCart with over 100 celebrities talking about sustainability as an agenda and why consumers should choose to shop from SustainCart. Again, this was not a marketing campaign where marketing monies were spent. It was more of using the goodwill to be able to very organically and genuinely talk about sustainability as a commodity category.
Kanti, I can hear you. If
Yeah,
I
please go
can
ahead, please go
start
ahead.
talking now. I first of all want to apologize to you all because I'm at an airport trying to drop off my son for a school trip. So I was struggling with the connect. I'm in right now. I missed the initial part, but then I wanted to introduce myself. I mean, you know that we are founders, but then what I had done before SustainCart. I was a designer. I studied fashion design from Canada and I started my design label and ran it for about 12 years. I showcased at multiple international and national platforms, and it was a successful business. Having said that, in halfway through my career, I kind of got introduced to Isha Yoga Center and its ways of running an organization, be it their center or other businesses that they run. Everything that they did had an impact behind it. Everything that they did had multiple benefits, not just to yourself, but also to the community around. And that started changing a bit of my perspective as to how I looked at business, not just my personal growth, but also commercially, whatever I do, I felt should have a meaning, a purpose, which will add value to not just myself, but to people around. And so I started making changes in my design. I stopped using everything to do with synthetic imported fabrics and started using our indigenous weaves, printing techniques. And I represented our country in Paris, Dubai, and other New York, only using Indian origin textiles and printing techniques and weaves. So I started changing and I turned my entire business into a sustainable fashion brand. And COVID happened, and I don't know if you mentioned that part, Kanti, but we know each other from many years. Our families knew each other, but we were not working together on any aspect. But when there was lockdown, my business came to a standstill. So did Kanti's, and we had an opportunity to meet, and we somehow brainstormed what what our intentions were. And Kanti resonated with everything that I said to him. by then he already saw me posting and advocating about different sustainable ways of living, how to make little changes in our lifestyles, how to choose clothing, and many such things. And then he and myself, we had a long conversation. We thought we should start a show, that is the Sustainable Living Show. That's how the show had happened. And since then it's been a snowballing success for us on multiple levels. Not just the show, the kind of opportunities that came our way, the kind of people we started associating with, the similar mindset, similar intention to do whatever we are doing in life. That's how our journey started. Kanti is a business mind, and I am the impact side balancing, factor, I guess. Since we both are from business families, we understand that whatever we do, we should keep economy along with ecology in mind. That was our, like something that we stayed on, and that's been our vision from the day we started the business. So it's a beautiful balance between how he, drives the business to how I look at to kind of balance the impact part of it as well, along with my expertise that I bring through design to through marketing that I've had experience with in my design, profession. Over to Kanti about the business facts.
Kanti, you're on mute. Yes.
Yeah, sure. So, like going back to when Sustain Card happened in January 2021, we had a great launch, and that sort of helped us create a very genuine stickiness to the platform by audiences who related to what Sustain Card was trying to promote. And 6 months into launching Sustain Card, there were two big questions that we wanted to address. The first being, how do we build a stronger stickiness towards the website for the consumers? Because we wanted to have a great retention or a repeat rate for consumers at large. And the second question was, how and when can we increase our top line revenues or the net revenues for the platform? So when it comes to e-commerce, right, we are an aggregator. We put together multiple brands under one roof. We started with over 200 plus brands, and today we have over 2,300 plus brands. We are the largest Indian e-commerce marketplace with over 3 lakh SKUs at this point in time. When we wanted to address these two questions, the first thing that came to our mind was definitely private labels, because the aggregator model has a 20 to 25% revenue bracket as a commission that we charge from brands. But when it comes to private labels, our numbers saw anywhere between 40 to 55% of top line gross revenue. And with this kind of celebrity network and the goodwill that Shilpa brings to the table, we thought, why not co-found private labels with celebrity partnerships? So that's when we started looking around and started researching more about, the celebrity partnerships and co-founded brands. In the month of October 2021, we happened to launch our first private label, which is a skincare brand called Bhumitra. Bhumitra is a all-natural Ayurvedic skincare brand with Kirti Suresh as a brand ambassador and a co-founder holding equity in the company, in the subsidiary private label brand. Again, Kirti Suresh brings over 35 million followers to the table, and she has very organically talked about her association with the brand and how she envisions the Indian market to accept natural cosmetics as a huge category. Past launching, the first private label in the month of October, we decided to raise our first round of funding, and after having 4 to 5 months of deep conversations with Munish and his team at India Accelerator, we cracked a deal with them to raise our pre-seed round. And the primary reason for us to want and raise a pre-seed round, though Shilpa and I also wanted to bootstrap it to a certain extent was that we wanted to bring very like-minded and professional network to the table. Thanks to India Accelerator and the network, we